Alright, this is going to be part 1 of the intake manifold swap. Alright, so what I've done so far, you want to remove everything you can that's attached to the intake so you can clean it before you take it off of the vehicle or attempt to. Because if you don't, when you lift it up, a bunch of dirt and stuff's going to fall into your engine, and you don't want the dirt and caked oil and mud and everything else that's on your intake to land in your lifter valve, go right into your cam or get into your lifters and mess all that up, or be pumped throughout your engine, or fall into your cylinder heads. So what I've done is I've removed the air cleaner assembly. I removed the hot air tube off of the passenger side exhaust manifold. I disconnected the PCV valve. I disconnected the vacuum advance on the distributor. I disconnected the throttle bracket, and I disconnected all of the plug wires, labeling which one was, 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8 on that side, in order. On the GM caps, they have a plastic ring that holds all the HEI plug wires in their position. As long as you still have that, you don't have to label them up at the cap, because they'll all stay in position, which is kind of nice. What else did I do here? Oh, I unbolted the top mount on the alternator bracket. I still have to take off the last bolt and remove that completely, and then I'm going to roll the alternator off the side. Hopefully I don't have to take the valve covers off, but I might have to. I noticed this one, the paint's peeling because I spilled some brake fluid on it, so I might take these off and put new gaskets and repaint them while I'm at this. Obviously the next step is going to be to remove the distributor, drain the water down, remove the heater lines, the thermostat housing, upper radiator hose, and then I can take off the intake. But before I do that, I'm going to unbolt all the accessories that are still bolted to the intake, like here's a front lift point, back there's the what is that thing? I think that was the transmission bracket for the automatic. I might leave that off because I no longer need it. Over here again in the back there's another lift point. And then on the side right there, if your vehicle is very original like mine is, you'll have the little tang bracket for your vacuum advance hose, the steel part of it. So I'm going to take that off. I'm going to clean and paint those all while I have them off, might as well. I'll remove all the intake bolts again, cleaning those, and I might shoot a little paint on them, make them look a little better, I don't know yet. And then pull the distributor. Or pull the distributor first, then pull those, and then hopefully with a little persuasion the intake will come loose. One of the other points I wanted to make here is when you go to drain down the antifreeze level on one of these engines, there's your petcock right there, and on these Chevy trucks the steering box is right there, and every freaking hose and everything else I could put there is there. For a truck with this much room, you think it'd be easier to drain the coolant, but it's not. So you have a couple options. You could loosen the petcock there and just drain it out, and it'll go all over the steering box and everything and fall out that way. It makes a huge mess. I've done it many times. Or you could go underneath the truck and pull one of the block plugs and drain down the block. And as long as you get the block level, you don't need to drain all the way out. I mean, you could, but as long as you get the block level below the intake, you're all set. So let's get a creeper here and roll under and show you where that is. Also, every bolt on the intake side of this truck is it's either going to be 9/16 1/2 inch or 5/8. That includes the brake, the fuel line, and the brake vacuum for the brake booster. I believe are both 5/8, and I'm pretty sure everything else is 9/16. In case you were wondering. Alright, underneath the beast. Convenient enough. Right there. There's a bolt. Right here. And that bolt should go into the water jacket. So I'll pop that off and I'll just drain the block down. Should be a lot cleaner. I can just put a big 5-gallon bucket right underneath here, hopefully. I may have to put the front end up on ramps, I'm not sure. But yep, put the 5-gallon bucket under here and pop that plug. I'll drain it, and then since I just put a water pump in this truck not too long ago, I will probably just filter and reuse the antifreeze. As long as you can get all the debris out of it, you know, it's just antifreeze, so we'll do that. And it looks like I might have to do a oil pan gasket, or maybe a rear main. I'm not sure. Most likely, oh, I got an oil pan gasket, so I'll probably throw that on. But I'm sure this engine could probably use a rear main seal. Also, here's my. I know a lot of people. I've been getting a lot of comments on my MP203 to MP205 swap that I did. And I've since changed that again, and I've installed an SM465 and NP205. The same NP205. I switched the input shafts, I took the transfer case all apart. I also twin sticked it at the same time. Or I might have done that when I switched it. But yep, I put in the SM465 and I retrofitted a hydraulic clutch setup from a newer truck in it. So there's the clutch, bell housing, cast iron, SM465 bolted to the NP205. So I have a lot better gearing for crawling and stuff like that. The only thing is that the transmission is really heavy duty, but this one I think is really wore out. It's out of a 77 1-ton. Obviously the bell housing is 86 and up, but it whines a lot and it likes to pop gears sometimes. So yeah, I might have a rebuild video on that soon. If anybody wants any more information on how to do that swap, what pedals you need and all that good stuff, just drop me a message. I'll be more than happy to make a video on that, if that's something you guys are interested in. Also, I have to do cab corners pretty bad in this truck. I mean cab supports. This part's still solid, but not so much. Anyway, yeah, back to what I was saying. So we're going to pop the drain plug in the block, drain it down. I've actually found a lot of people I've seen, who was I watching? I think his name's on YouTube, it's like Farm Boy or something like that, and a motor, he just got a 383 out of a 1-ton, you know, built 383, and somebody had put drain ball valves on it, which is actually a pretty nice feature on these trucks because you cannot drain the radiator without making a huge mess, so you could just drain it right from here. On my 350, I have those screw-in kind that you see on like the bottom of compressors sometimes. They have a little check ball in them and you unscrew them a little bit and then it leaks out, which is great, but you know, mine was off a plow truck, so it's pretty rusty and it doesn't really work all that well. The drain valve idea seems pretty good to me, of course, unless it pops when it's not supposed to and just dumps all your coolant out. So I don't know about that, but it might be something I'll try in the future. First, I gotta get this intake done, so that's about where we're at right now, guys. Ooh, more rust today. So yeah, once you've got everything unbolted, you want to take a screwdriver or something and go around and clean all these areas on where your gasket flange is. You know, anything that's exposed. You want to pick it out, then vacuum it. I actually just pressure washed it. That's why that cardboard is kind of on there. I pressure washed it last night. Not that you can really tell, but I did. And I also vacuumed it before the fact, and it's still pretty oily and pretty nasty. So what I'm going to do is take my compressed air. I'm going to blow around the gasket flanges all the way around it a couple of times and just make sure I can clean as much of it off as possible. And then, like I said, I'll drain it down and go from there. As far as parts, I'm pretty much all set, but I do need to order I'm going to figure I might as well rebuild the carburetor again while I got this off, because we're getting a really strong smell of gas lately. And I'm not sure. I've heard that the I forget what they're called, the little plugs that are in the bottom of these Rochesters like to leak. I know a lot of people epoxy them, but I'm gonna rebuild that. I don't think I'll make a video that's been done so many times on YouTube, it's not even funny. But yep, that's part one. Sorry I kinda rambled on, guys.